Hey guys, how's it going? Studman coming back at you once again today, and this time around I'm going to be doing an amalgamation of a video here because there is a lot that I picked up to talk about, and most of the stuff I picked up actually is stuff that I paid more than I normally pay for Blu-rays in general, because you know me, I'll go to half-price books and I'll get something for like $1 and be like, yeah, I got it for $1. Wee. And I go thrift shopping and I'll find all these amazing deals, and yeah, that's typically how it goes with me. But sometimes I get tired. I get tired of looking for the best possible deal out there. I get tired of trying to find Blu-rays that are only under $5 and not buying anything over $5. And sometimes I want newer releases, and sometimes I want better releases. So that's what this week is. Oh my god, guys, I actually got some things this week that are newer, better titles that actually cost more than $5. But you know me, they were still really good deals. So I'm going to start off with a couple of titles that I had originally already done a video about, but I accidentally deleted that video, and it's okay with me because that video I only talked about these two titles, and I'm like, you know, I can't really be doing a video if it's just literally just two freaking titles. Why would anybody want to watch a video where I'm just talking about two things that I picked up? You know what I mean? And I had enough stuff in the can that I didn't really have to worry about, you know, making sure that I had enough content or something like that. Didn't have to worry about it enough that it would make sense for me to actually put that video up. So I decided to throw these two titles in with this pickup video because, you know, it'll be even more interesting and potentially, I don't know, not exciting, but yeah, interesting to watch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show you one of the big titles I picked up recently, which was Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I absolutely loved this movie. Saw it in theaters. Was a great freaking movie. I love all the characters in it. I know a lot of people don't like it. There are a few reasons that are popular for disliking this movie that don't make any sense, because it's like, if you knew anything about Star Wars, then you'd know that excuse is complete and utter bullcrap. So whatever the reasons may be for people feeling that way about the movie, I think it's freaking awesome, and I really wanted to pick this up, even though sadly it doesn't really have that many special features. It's got a bunch of stories. It just says The Stories, an intimate collection of stories that take you behind the scenes with filmmakers and cast to reveal how the film came to life. So it's got the story of Jin, Cassian, K2SO, Bazin, Chirrut, Bodhi, and Saw, the Empire, Visions of Hope, the look of Rogue One, the Princess and the Governor, epilogue, and the story continues. I'm pretty sure these are all just really short featurettes, probably like 5 minutes each. I don't know how long exactly, but I would not be surprised if they were just really short featurettes. And at some point they're going to be added on as just like the original special features that you'll get in addition to all the new special features that they probably already created and are going to be putting on the 3D release when that one comes out, or the 4K release, if that's the way they decide to go with that, whatever choice they make, given the fact that 3D Blu-rays are on the outs, 3D TVs are no longer being produced, so 3D Blu-ray probably isn't going to exist very much longer, so it wouldn't really necessarily make much sense for them to do this ultra special edition of this movie in 3D. I guess they could, but it would also make a lot of sense to go 4K in my opinion. But whatever they choose to do with that, whatever they choose to do with the special features they may be working on to buff up the ultra special deluxe edition of this, I might get that at some point in the near future, I mean, I might also pick up the Ultra Special Deluxe Edition, 3D edition of The Force Awakens, which I still have yet to pick up, but I haven't done that yet. All I knew for sure was that I really wanted to get this. I really wanted to have this in my collection because I loved this movie. So it was $25 at Target, but they had a 20% off coupon on their Cartwheel app. And I put that on there and used that to get it essentially for $20, which is, according to my information at least, that's how much it was in the US at least, pretty much everywhere during the first week of release, but I didn't get it during the first week of release, so I actually had to use a coupon in order to get it for the original freaking price, because it apparently had gone up in price since then. The special sale price that they have to start off a release such as this had already expired. So yeah, either way, I'm glad that I got it for the price that I wanted, 20 bucks, not bad, and that I have Rogue One now. Very, very good movie, very glad to have it. Next, I got this movie because it was only $6.50 on Amazon. I don't know why they dropped it to $6.50. I think they thought that they were price matching some other website or some other company, and in reality, I don't think this was ever actually priced at $6.50 anywhere else. But whatever happened, whatever the reasons were for them pricing this down to $6.50 for like a day, I immediately jumped on that price because honestly, as much as I like this movie, it's not something that I think I would pay a lot of money for. So I decided to pick up Thor here for $6.50. A fantastic price for this movie because I like it, but I don't like it enough that I think that, like, I didn't even necessarily think I needed it in my collection, because it wasn't my favorite Marvel movie, and it still really isn't. But all the Marvel movies, almost all of them exclusively, you know, since the rebirth of Marvel movies, have been good. At the very least, they've been good. I would say this is like a 7 out of 10 or something like that. And to pay $6.50 for a 7 out of 10 Marvel movie, that's not a bad price. That's a pretty good price. I mean, I paid, what was it, $4 for Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. Total, I paid $8 for those movies. That's the kind of price range that I look for a title like this, because yeah, it's good, but I don't necessarily think it's so good that it deserves the high price tag that it's had for years now. So you are damn skippy that the second this went down to a decent price, $6.50, jumped all over that, and very glad to have it. Can't wait, by the way, to see Thor Ragnarok. That looks like a boatload of fun, and I have enjoyed I think there was either 2 additional Thor movies that have been made since this, or 1 additional Thor movie. The sequel or sequels were good. I remember at least one of them, The Dark World, I believe, was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit more than this one, in fact. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This one didn't really strike me in the same way as other Marvel movies have, but that doesn't mean I'm going to keep it out of my collection out of spite. I liked it enough that I would definitely put it in my collection, and that's exactly what I did. When the price went down, when it came down to a price that I was willing to pay for it, bam, in my collection. That's the thing with me. It's like, you know, it may not have been everything that I wanted to see, but it set up other movies perfectly well in the series, in the franchise, and the universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as it were. And it wasn't necessarily a bad movie. It just wasn't necessarily exactly what I wanted to see in every single case. So I'm not going to, out of spite, be like, fuck this movie, I'm never going to buy it. Like, come on. That's childish. If you think a movie is good and you like it, especially if you're a collector like me, then yeah, why not put it in your collection? You're probably going to want to watch it again at some point. I will probably watch this again before I go to see Thor Ragnarok later in the year, so yeah, glad I picked it up. Now then, those were the two that I had talked about previously in another video. Let's get on to the new stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start off by talking about the Disney titles that I picked up. Yes, in addition to Rogue One, I picked up some other Disney titles. One of them is new and one of them is used. I'll start off with the used. First off, I picked up here The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which in my estimation is probably the best Winnie the Pooh movie ever made and best Winnie the Pooh movie that will ever be made. I didn't really get into any of the stuff that was made in like the 90s and whatnot. I thought the cartoon that came out in the 90s, when I was a kid, I was young enough that I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't really a huge fan of it. But I still recognized it's pretty good stuff, right? But all the movies that came out after that, I was not really a big fan of those. But I do remember liking this a lot, and I have seen it since then, and it struck me how really great it is. So I've been waiting for this to come down to a decent price, and I finally found it online on Amazon, no less, for $7.99. Oddly enough, I ordered it for $7.99, and it said that it would take like 2 weeks to actually ship because, well, I don't even know why. I don't know why I said because there, because I have no idea why it was going to take so long for them to get it in stock and then ship it to me. It was a used copy of something, so I thought for sure if it's used, then they have it in their system, they have it at one of their distribution centers. Why is it going to take them 2 weeks to send it to me? But I guess that wasn't the case. I don't know what was going on with that in particular, but either way, $7.99 was such a good price I didn't want to let go of that. So I ordered it immediately, and it said that it would ship, I think, either May 8th or May 9th. And sure enough, it shipped on May 8th and arrived, I think, on May 10th. So I was very, very happy to receive it, but by the time that it had shipped, like literally the day that it shipped, the price of the new copy went down to $9.99. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. I could have gotten it new for just $2 more, and I think I would have been willing to do that had I known that that was going to happen. But I didn't know it at the time. At the time, I had been waiting literally for years for this to drop down below $10. And it finally fucking did used. So I got the used copy, which didn't really come with like the Disney code or anything. So, you know, it would have been nice to be able to get the code and everything, but whatever. I'm still glad that I got this. I'm still happy to have gotten this for such a good price. Not necessarily the best price ever, but $7.99, not bad. Next up, another title that went down to $9.99 at the same time that Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh went down to that price. Just so happened to be another Disney movie that I was looking for and wanted to get in my collection, and that is Disney's Robin Hood. This has always been a favorite of mine since I was a kid. I remember renting this out at video stores at least a few times, and always an enjoyable flick. I always loved watching this version of Robin Hood, but there are other versions of Robin Hood that I enjoy, I think, a little bit more. Like Robin Hood Men in Tights, I think, was also a huge part of my childhood, even though it's probably not something that kids should be watching, I don't know, but that's what I was watching at the time, and I always found that a hilarious take on the story. Even more funny and more fun, really, than Disney's Robin Hood here, but there's a lot to love about Disney's version of the story as well, so absolutely glad to finally pick this up on Blu-ray, and I got it brand new for $9.99. That's about the price I was looking for. Sure, I'd love to get it for less, but I don't really care if it's, you know, only $10 because $10 is still a really good deal for a Disney Blu-ray. Most Disney titles, especially a Disney title like this, are not going to go down to that price very often. So you got to get them when you can, and that's exactly what I did. So very happy about that. Next up, I picked up Ran or Ran 41. This is Akira Kurosawa's Ran, which I watched with some good friends of mine. I believe it was with Skinslip and Zaron Isaac. I think Zaron Isaac was the one who wanted to get us all to watch it. And sure enough, we sat down to watch it, and sure enough, I absolutely loved it. Not too big of a surprise. Akira Kurosawa is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, but you know, there's that phrase, every frame a painting, and that is very freaking true when it comes to Ran. Every single frame of this fucking movie is a fucking painting. If you stop it, like if you pause it in the middle of a scene, it's a painting. Pause it in the middle of a scene, it's a painting. Pause, painting, pause, painting. No matter where you pause it, you could easily take that exact frame, that picture that you're seeing on the screen, copy it, put it up on a wall, and it would look beautiful as a painting. I mean, that's how good of a cinematographer, that's how good the cinematography is in this movie. So I definitely wanted to pick this up. Now, I've heard murmurings, I've heard rumors that maybe Criterion or another company is going to pick this up at some point, and they're going to do an even better release with an even better transfer. It's going to have so much more special features, and you'd be a fool to pick up this version, the Studio Canal version. You'd just be a complete and total fool. Okay, well, call me a fool. It was $10.99 on Amazon. $10.99. This has never been that low a price, or at least I've never seen it for that low a price. Usually, finding a Studio Canal Blu-ray for $10.99 or for even less, for like $15 basically, is a pretty damn good deal. So to find this for $10.99, yeah, you kind of got to go for that. Even though it might not be the best release you will ever see of Ran, we might see a better one at some point. Or there might in fact be a better release of this out there that I don't know about or have forgotten about or something. But $10.99 to get this movie on Blu-ray from Studio Canal is not a bad price. I'm very, very happy with this pickup. I don't care what anybody says. I'm so glad that I got this for that price, because I've been waiting to pick this up for a halfway decent price. $10.99, that's a pretty good price for an Akira Kurosawa movie, especially one that you can really only get from these specialty studios, and the specialty studios always obviously charge a higher price. So yeah, really cool stuff. Man, when I told you that I picked up some cooler stuff that cost a little bit more money, I wasn't kidding. Ran, man, very, very good movie. Glad to have that in my collection. Next up, I decided to take advantage of a $5 Best Buy gift card that I had. I think it took me like over a year to actually earn the points or whatever that you need in order to get that freaking gift card on your account. And that just goes to show you how much money you have to spend in order to actually get anything for being a Best Buy Rewards member or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's kind of annoying, really, but whatever. I think it comes down to you have to spend $250 at their store, and then after you spend $250, they'll send you a $5 gift card for doing so. Which, I mean, I can kind of understand why it's that low, but at the same time, I feel like I've gotten better deals and better discounts at other stores that have these kinds of, you know, membership cards. And I don't know, that just seems kind of cheap to me, especially considering that Best Buy has been making some stupid mistakes recently. But yeah, speaking of mistakes, the one that I really am pissed off about, what I wanted to pick up with that $5 gift card was Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, because they had the director's cut Blu-ray down to $9.99, which would have made with the $5 gift card, it would have made it $5 total for that, which is absolutely the price I want to pay for that release. I love that movie, and I definitely want to have it in my collection, but if I can get it for $5, all the freaking better. I'm kind of hoping I can find it for at least $8 or less, but when I saw I could possibly get it for $5, I was like, yes, that's totally what I'm using my gift card on. Except it wasn't available in any Best Buy store within 250 fucking miles of me. I'm sorry. What? We're talking about arguably the most popular Star Trek movie ever. So popular, in fact, that it was the one Star Trek movie from the original Star Trek movies that got this super uber deluxe awesome edition on Blu-ray for the 50th anniversary. The new transfer and everything. No other Star Trek movie got a new transfer or a super uber deluxe fucking edition on Blu-ray. Only that one, because that's the most popular Star Trek movie ever. You have all the new Star Trek movies in your stores, but you can't be bothered to put the most popular Star Trek movie ever in your fucking store. Not enough room, right? Fuck you. This is why you're going out of business. Because people go to your store for convenience, and all the convenience that they used to go to your store for, you are taking away from them. One of those conveniences, I might add, is the ship-to-store option. I haven't seen a ship-to-store option on Best Buy's website for over a year now. They don't allow you to ship anything, as far as I know, to ship anything to the store anymore. You can't order something and then tell them to ship it to the store anymore. I don't know why they don't have that as an option, but that was a convenience that they used to offer that I don't see anymore, that used to make it worth going to Best Buy. Another convenience they used to have is that if you ordered something that you wanted to pick up at their store, they'd give you, I think it was 10 days to pick it up, which is great if you don't have as many opportunities to get out of the house as most people do. I don't have that many opportunities to get out of the house sometimes, so it's always nice when I can order something when it's on sale before it goes out of stock, and then have them hold it for me until I can get out to their fucking store. Say maybe if you're out in the middle of nowhere, that would especially be very convenient. And then pick it up to 10 days later. As far as I can tell, especially this is the case with this particular title, where that may have changed recently, because just as recently as the last Best Buy update that I did, the 3 for $21, they gave me 10 full days to pick it up. This one they gave me 5 days, and I'm pretty sure that may in fact be their new limit. You have now 5 days, not 10 days, 5 days to pick it up. So that's another case where convenience, which used to be a huge reason that people would go to your fucking store, you're just taking all that convenience away. Sorry, we can't offer you that convenience anymore. Well, then why am I going to your fucking store? I go to a 7-Eleven and I pay more money for things at 7-Eleven because it's convenient. I go to your store and sometimes spend more money on things than maybe I would like to because it's convenient. Why are you going out of your way to make your store and what you offer to your customers less convenient when convenience was one of the big reasons that people shopped at your fucking store? You're trying to compete with Amazon, right? I know Amazon's trying to compete with you. And if you're trying to compete with them on some kind of a level, then it's kind of hard to do that when it's really ultra convenient to go on Amazon and buy their shit that they price matched off of you and have it shipped to your door for within 2 days for free. That's super fucking convenient. I'd love to go out to your store if you give me the time to do so, to pick something up, but you won't let me ship to store, and you're giving me less time now to go and pick something up, making it even less convenient for me, making it even easier for me to decide to choose Amazon over Best Buy. If somebody from Best Buy is watching this, I want you to understand how fucking stupid you're being and how you need to change what you're doing, because what you're doing is going to lose you business. You are going to go out of business faster if you continue with this nonsense. End of story. End of rant. Okay. Now that I've had that delicious rant, I'm actually going to show you the title that I picked up here that they only gave me 5 days to pick up. I used my $5 gift card on it, and it was only $17.99. They had brought it down to $17.99. You may have noticed in the title thing, the picture that I put up, a black case, which usually denotes a 4K release, and indeed, this 4K release had been brought down to $17.99, and with the $5 gift card, it went down to $12.99, so $13. Damn good deal for Hacksaw Ridge. I have been wanting to see this movie ever since it came out in theaters. I can't remember exactly what happened to keep me from going to see it when it was in theaters, but I know there were a few things that popped up that just kind of got in the way, and I never really had the chance, never really had the time to go and see this when it was in theaters, but I really wanted to, because as I was hearing, it was probably like, I heard it was like the best movie that Mel Gibson had done since Braveheart. So, you know, I love Braveheart. I love a lot of the stuff that Mel Gibson does. The movies that he directs many times are very, very excellent. And I know that he can do a really good job, especially with material like this. So I was definitely excited to see this, but I just didn't get the chance to see it in theaters. So when I found out that I could use my $5 gift card on something like this, I figured, well, maybe I should look for one of these cheaper 4K releases and try and get it for a little bit less than it normally is, because you know they're going to have the 4K movies in there, because they're definitely trying to sell their 4K movies. And sure enough, they definitely had this in stock. So for $17.99, bring it down to $13. $13 is not a bad price to pay for a fairly new release here in Hacksaw Ridge. Of course, it came with the slipcover, which is pretty nice. It also comes with, obviously it came with the 4K disc, but it also comes with the Blu-ray and the digital copy. I will probably be watching the Blu-ray first, because I don't have a 4K player or a 4K TV yet, but, you know, this is one of those convenient cases where it's kind of worth it to upgrade and get the 4K version when you can get the Blu-ray with it, and I got it for a fairly decent price at like $13, so yeah. I would have paid $10 for the Blu-ray version, $13 to get the 4K version. Sure, why the hell not? That's about the price that I was looking at when I first got into Blu-ray for Blu-rays at the time. If I could find it for less than $15, it was generally a, okay, maybe I should get it kind of thing. And sure enough, that's pretty much the way that I'm treating 4K now. So yeah, very glad to pick this up. I can't wait to finally check it out, but I have not yet done so. I agreed to watch this with a friend of mine, so hopefully we will be doing that at some point very soon. As you can probably tell from the sticker here, I tried to peel it off, but it was really stuck on there, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm sure I'll try to peel it off again at some point. Hopefully get it off without there being too much sticky gunk on there, but I hate when Best Buy does this. I hate it. It's another thing Best Buy does that I hate, so yeah, I mean, they're not perfect. They have issues. I ranted about them. Let's move on. Anyways, what's really cool about this movie, for those who don't know, is that it's apparently telling the story of a guy who was like, I don't think it was like a conscientious objector, but he definitely was like against war, didn't like war, didn't want to go to war, but I think he got drafted, and because he was kind of thrown into that situation, even though he didn't want to be in that situation, what he ended up doing was trying to save as many lives as he possibly could, and ended up saving like 70, yeah, here, right on the back, 75 men without firing or carrying a gun. So definitely a case of a real live hero, or I don't know if he's still alive, but a real hero from back in the day, and I definitely want to hear or see, in fact, his story here in the best possible quality. So nice to get the 4K version. I'm sure I'm going to love this movie, so I know that I'll be watching this in 4K at some point in the near future, probably in a year or two when I actually do get a 4K player and a 4K TV. And I know I'm going to love it even more then, but until then, at least now I have the Blu-ray as well. Last but not least, I finally got, and this is probably the newest one here actually, the newest title that just got released, Serial Mom on Blu-ray. For those of you who don't know the sordid story of this movie's release on physical media, came out on DVD 15, 20 years ago, and then was, I don't know, I don't want to say promptly taken off the market, but it definitely was on the market for very long, and that made it really hard to find the DVD whenever you could. And in fact, there was a point a few years ago, maybe it was like more like 5 or 6, but there was a point several years ago where I picked up a 4-pack of movies from Walmart for $5 because the 4-pack had Serial Mom on it, and that was at the point one of the only ways you could get Serial Mom on any physical format for less than, you know, outrageous collector's prices. So I was very glad to do it at that point. And then eventually they released this on Blu-ray. I think it was released in another country though. I think it was released like in the UK or something. And at the time I didn't have a region-free player, but I think it was a region-free Blu-ray regardless. And I definitely had it on my wish list, and at one point I was right about to pick it up. I literally had the money and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait on this one any longer. And it had gone down to like 14 bucks or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'll pay the 14 bucks just so that I can make sure I have this movie in my collection on Blu-ray. Sure enough, I order it for $14 and it just sits there. The order just sits there. It never gets shipped. Months go by. The shipment date keeps going back and back and back, further and further and further, until it's eventually revealed it's out of print. They don't have any more. They're not making any more. It's out of print. That Blu-ray, I ordered it just a few days too late, I guess, and I didn't get it, and it didn't beat me up per se, but it was really disappointing because, like, finally I get the money set aside so that I can buy this fucking thing, and of course the second that I decide to get it, it's no longer in print. Really, really sucked. I was a little heartbroken that day. But thankfully, maybe the reason that it went out of print was because Shout Factory picked up the rights to release their own version or their own release of this movie on Blu-ray, and oh my goodness, does this look beautiful. Holy crap. Don't tell me that you don't like that freaking artwork. That's beautiful artwork. So for those who don't know, Serial Mom, starring Sam Waterston and Ricky Lake and a bunch of other notable character actors, including Suzanne Summers, Kathleen Turner, obviously as the main character, and perhaps my favorite actor in this entire movie, Matthew Lillard. I don't know, I like him in everything he does, or almost everything he does. I haven't seen everything he's done, but everything that I have seen him in, pretty much for the most part, I've liked him in because I feel like he's just a across-the-board great actor. Hilarious, fun to watch, sometimes even a little creepy in Scream. But yeah, this is a really cool, interesting take on a horror movie. by John Waters, and I have loved it ever since I saw it when I was younger. Just was a fantastic experience when I was younger. It was just disturbing as hell. And I remember watching this, I think after, like, I think they had a double bill on TV. I don't know if it was on Sci-Fi or another network, but I swear there was a double bill where they had So I Married an Axe Murderer and then Serial Mom. And I tell you what, that is such an amazing, you can't deny it, that is an amazing double bill. That is just the perfect kind of creepy movie double bill. And they're the same kind of humorous comedy or dark comedy kind of horror movies. So it just works. You get, at least I get the same feeling of like creepy hilariousness whenever I watch both of those movies. So very glad to have finally gotten this on Blu-ray. Very glad that Shout Factory decided to do this release, because otherwise I probably would never have had it on Blu-ray. I probably would have just stuck with the release I had on that 4-pack. So really, really cool that they did this. It includes a conversation with director John Waters and actress Kathleen Turner and Mink Stoll, Serial Mom, Surreal Moments, The Kings of Gore, Herschel Gordon Lewis and David Friedman, The Making of Serial Mom, commentary with John Waters and Kathleen Turner, commentary with John Waters, and a theatrical trailer. So not too insignificant in terms of the special features on this release. And of course, it has the reversible cover and the original artwork on the other side, which is really, really nice, because gotta love that. I got that nostalgia for this original artwork here. Very cool. And on the cover here you can even see Matthew Lillard, my favorite. For those who don't know what this movie is, oh, you have to see it. You just have to freaking see it. It's so hilarious and brilliant, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's also a bit of a time capsule, because maybe it's something that could happen today, but I feel like the movie was trying to comment on rampant, in the same way that The Burbs was trying to comment on this. This is trying to comment on rampant suburbia and the way that affects people. It's interesting. If you wanted to see a study in how different filmmakers tackle a subject, you could watch this after watching All That Heaven Allows, because All That Heaven Allows, they're kind of talking about similar things, but in this one, the woman doesn't just get all sad and then have an affair. She goes crazy and starts killing people. No spoilers here, right? And that's not a spoiler. I mean, you can pretty much see it on the cover. But yeah, love this movie. So glad that I finally got it in my collection on Blu-ray, and $20 to get it brand new, brand spanking new on release day. Very, very cool. Very happy to have this in my collection. So in total today, I would say that I found some really, really nice stuff. That's a pretty damn good haul, you guys. Obviously, I got this stuff a little bit earlier here, down here. But we got Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Robin Hood, Ron, Hacksaw Ridge, and Serial Mom. It's an eclectic, weird selection of movies, but all really good stuff. Really good stuff. And there are only a few titles in here that I paid less than $10 for, too. So, you know, it's not all about getting the best possible deal. Sometimes it's just about getting the stuff that you want, man. And I had the money to do so, so I did it. Yeah. Very cool stuff. Anyways, that'll do it for me today. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.